Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we're doing a no-run-through review for the newest expansion to Fort, Cats and Dogs. It's a very little expansion for an otherwise excellent game. So Fort was a game that we did, I don't know whenever we did it, but it came out in 2020 by Leader Games, and I very much enjoy Fort. I think it's a fun, small engine builder kind of game. Based around a very unique theme that I think is just pleasant to play. And Fort, the Cats and Dogs expansion, I think throws quite a wrench in the overall gameplay. You essentially have two modules. You don't have to play with both, but we did. I don't think it made the game any more complicated than it needed. It wasn't like, oh god, we threw everything in the kitchen sink in. Yeah. But overall, what are your guys' thoughts on the Cats and Dogs expansion?
I haven't put my thoughts together yet.
All right.
This is the first time playing Fort, so I didn't So I don't know if I didn't feel like it threw a wrench into it. Probably just because I didn't play the other one before. Mm-hmm. I like the cats. The dogs, I felt like you had to plan out more. Mm-hmm. And I haven't played Fort enough to figure out the planning step of it.
Right. Yeah, the dogs themselves were very situational.
Right.
Interesting in theme in the sense that, they don't stay with you if you don't play them. And so a lot of the times, if you just don't happen to have their what they need, then you're forced to basically give them to your opponent.
Right.
Which is interesting because they might not also have it, or if they do have it, now that's in their hand, and they might do that instead of their other cards. But then if they don't, then it goes to the next person. But they're recruitable. If you're like, okay, I don't want them, then it's like, oh, great.
Right.
And they can be used to support your main cards, so you can at least hold on to them.
Yes. Yeah, just the fact that a lot of them are just add cards. You're just like, boom, okay, there we go.
Right.
And it's like, okay, now I get this neat ability. I don't think any of the abilities are super busted.
No.
But some of them are super helpful. Like Duke, for example, if you get him early and you hoard up on stuff, then you can just, really just gain 2 levels in a fort.
Right.
While also adding to your doghouse, which this is just adorable. But it's kind of a one and done. Whoever has the most dogs at the end of the game is just a flat 7 points.
Right.
And whenever we were playing Fort, and I was like, my plan is very long term. My plan was dogs, the dogs and cats. I was doing horribly in terms of actual points. And I was like, well, let's hope the doghouse ends up swinging it. And it ended up being the difference, the entire difference maker. We, weirdly enough, all tied at 31 points. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you calculate the dogs and the cats, and it's like, oh, okay, now you add. And I like that. I like having a different scoring mechanism versus just the flat whatever you happen to get from your cards.
Right.
Brett, what do you think of the dogs?
Take or leave, honestly.
Yeah.
It added some, if people have played Fort enough, that it's kind of like, is there anything more? Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't break things, and it doesn't make it overly complicated.
True.
It's fine either way.
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to actually utilize the dogs, or I didn't feel that they were strategically enough.
Right.
It's overall, Fort is just an odd game in the sense that it's fun and light and silly, but there's some real strategy and it's a light deck builder, it's a light engine builder, and you really have to know those mechanics well enough.
Right.
And so the dogs just became another factor to throw into all of that. So some people are going to think it's too much.
Yeah.
And those people don't use it.
Yeah.
Or don't use the dogs and the cats combined.
Right. And this is for sure not a must-have expansion. I think Fort is extremely solid by itself. And like you said, it's an engine builder and a deck builder that actually leads to something. I played Furnace, and it's a very solid engine builder, but I'm like, what do you do?
You build the engine.
You just do the engine, and then you just have money at the end.
And you build the engine more.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and for me, this is kind of a little bit too boring. it's like I like having something to go for. And then this, you're building your engine to either get victory points or build up your fort, which then just helps you. And the dogs are just kind of another. Usually, they're big, like one-time abilities,
Right.
and or just a way to like. There was one, I don't know, I think you ended up having it by the end, but the one that just gave you resources just
Yeah.
for having certain icons. And
Actually, I think I have it.
I had to get rid of it because I couldn't meet its needs.
Yeah. And I put it in my lookout
oh, gotcha.
because I didn't want anyone else to have it.
Well,
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was fun. You can't.
You can't put dogs in lookouts.
You should have caught me earlier.
I wasn't paying attention.
You
That's
even
why I
looked
was
over
wondering.
here, you said, didn't you have a shitload of dogs?
Yeah, and
they're right
I
here.
thought that was your discard pile. Because I was like, yeah, where the hell are they?
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
you
was
dropped like
too.
3 of them. Where'd they go?
By the end, I was like, man, where'd all the dogs go, dude?
Decapitated them and made them as like a warning sign. It's like, dear God, there's the serial killer.
Because we had
kid.
the entire conversation of, because I was like, why can't you trash your dog? Well, it actually does tell you the rule on the back.
Right on the back of the. Mm-hmm.
Nice
Yep, cannot be trashed or added to your lookout.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
That's weird.
cheater.
Well, that's weird because dogs are like
You
inherently
could have a
lookouts.
lookout dog, yeah. I think it's so they're constantly cycled until they're
Right.
used.
Yeah.
Hence why maybe he could have gotten more. I would say, though, probably for the dogs themselves, I think maybe do like a first and second place for victory points. Like, just a flat 7, because like once I had 3, like
You were pretty much
I was
golden.
pretty much a set to
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the fact that you can't hoard them, so you can't just be like, oh, no one can have these dogs. Like, they're
Right.
forced to go out, and then instead of no one recruits them, then they just go to someone else's discard pile anyway. Now, the cats, I actually like more.
I did too.
I like the cats,
cats more.
yeah, because they're also like the perks, like except the fact that they're not loyal to anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas the dogs are, you use them and they're yours forever. The cats are like, it's like, oh, I got 2 shovels. It's like, yeah, I do too. And then the cat, it's like, what the? What? I gave you everything. But what do you guys think of the cats?
Never got a chance to use them.
What do you think of the cats?
I like the cats better. than
Again,
the
I
dogs.
was concentrating on everything else. I completely ignored and forgot about
Right.
them. That ended up just being another layer that I just didn't want to bother adding.
Yeah.
But that's me being lazy. That's not that it's anything difficult. You know, you handed it to me once, I used it once, and then I lost it, and I didn't care because
Yeah.
it wasn't anything.
Well, because by the end, because Bandit was really good, and it wasn't
Right.
even that I was trying to steal him for the ability. I was trying to steal him for the victory points at the end.
Right.
And then I was like, oh no, someone's going to take him from me.
But that, to me, that's where I like the cats better than the dogs. So there's the Rover or something that needed the 2 skateboards. Okay, I built a deck of skateboards.
Oh, yeah.
And every time he showed up in my deck, he required 2 others. I had 1.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now I can't do anything. At least with the cat, if I put out 2 skateboards, I'm guaranteed to get the cat.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that's kind of cool and for me frustrating for is I'm building a deck, but then if I can't play the cards, that engine that I'm building can be stolen by
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Because I was building an engine, like, when I picked this, I think I had 4 book cards. And by the end of the
yeah.
game, I had 1.
Well, you were trashing a bunch.
I didn't trash any of those, though. I trashed greens.
But it is an interesting.
But that's not a fault
another-
on Fort. That's
No,
that's
no.
a deck building
Yeah,
element where
right.
it's like shit. Like I had a thin deck the entire
Right.
time, and so Sprightly is before you play a card, you may discard a card from your hand to draw one from your deck. A lot more beneficial for someone who has a thicker deck. I just always had discard 5 cards. Boom,
Right.
5 cards. And at one point, I think I drew 3 because I only had 3 left, and I'm like, I gotta get some people who recruit, like, especially because I needed. I had Sleepover, which was if you had the most cards, and I was like, surely I'll do that. And then I was like, oh no, I don't have any.
See, I kind of went, by the end, I was starting to trash cards because, like, I got more resources. Most of my cards are all resources. I'm just going to try and get the fort, top level fort,
Yeah.
and try to end it. So that's why by the end of the game, I think I had 3 cards that built forts.
Right,
And it was
which
like-
also I ended up helping you build a fort anyway.
Right,
Because I was like, oh sure, and you're like, I'll follow that. It's like, damn it.
right.
Why did I do that? No, but the cats are really cool because one, this could be a different level. There's 8 of them.
Yep.
So the ones we didn't have was Cilantro, and one, the art is adorable. I love them. I love the art for the dogs as well. We have Scratch. You need 2 water guns. Before you play a card, you may trash a kid in a rival's yard. Scavenger needs glue. Before you play... I just realized all the cats are their color.
Yeah.
Like this one's silver and needs crowns, and then that one's yellow for shovels. So this one's orange for glue. Before you play a card, you may convert up to 2 resources. Pizza, the toys, or reverse on your board. Dumpling, this one just sucks. Attracted to 3 or more cards in your yard. When you use a fort, you must spend 1 more resource. So it's just it's not even a benefit. It's just, oh, I didn't utilize my turn.
Yeah.
Now I have this fat cat. And then Cilantro books. Whenever you recruit from the park deck, you draw 2 cards and choose one and return the other to the bottom. So almost all of them are good,
Right.
except for Dumpling. But Dumpling's adorable.
Right.
But yeah, Jitters was really good, which was...
Bandit was great.
Yeah, Bandit was great. No cards at the end of your turn. If no one follows you, you score 1 point. And even if they can't, so that came in handy with the dogs, because you can't follow the dogs. So,
Right.
I mean, I probably got like 5 or 6 points just from that one alone.
Yeah.
Happenstance of no one following, then I played 4 dog cards. No, I think
It was also obvious how to take that away from somebody, so you can strategize your
But-
play and your
True.
discards.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, getting no cards in your yard at the end of your turn is not an easy task.
It's not super easy. It's
Unless
definitely...
you're stacking 1 suit.
I was about to say, yeah,
Right.
it's just kind of like boom. And then also, the dogs and cats definitely go hand in hand, because the dogs themselves, like, what was the one? Duke was like, add 3 suits from hand. It's like, okay.
Right.
And that burns your hand, and then you
Right.
just take Jitters.
Yep.
So, it's interesting. The dogs, like, willingly go to someone else, and then the cats, people take from you.
Yeah.
Which I think the cats fit more into Fort in terms of the mechanics, because what you don't use goes into the yard and people can take those from you. So if you have a really good card, and like I actively kept Noodle Twins in my hand because I'm like, there's no way someone's not taking that
Right.
from me if it's in my yard, so I have to find some way to keep it. And then that's the one time I used Sprightly, was to discard her to draw. Oh hey, there's Ranger. Cute. Okay, yeah, the one with the 2 skateboards.
Yeah.
You may discard any number of kids from your lookout, then you may add up to 2 kids to your lookout from your hand and discard pile.
It wasn't that I even thought his power was great. It was that I think I can do this one. Mm-hmm. Every time I could do it, he wasn't in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, it's a very, very tiny expansion. Just, it enhances Fort.
Yeah.
It doesn't change it, or it's just like, hey, if you really like Fort, here's 2 modules that you can just throw one in, or both, and it doesn't radically... It's a good little expansion for an awesome little game. What do you, so, I mean, you guys got anything else on the Cats and Dogs expansion? I'm honestly surprised they made an expansion for it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't really think of one. The only thing I could think of now is if they did, like, tools or equipment, if you wanted to, like, actively build your fort and,
Sure.
like, have a little bit more than just, well, somehow we're using pizza and toys to build a fort. If they wanted to make it a little bit more thematic, like, oh, we have a hammer, and that lets you build a level of fort 1 less, or
Right.
something. But, I don't know. I don't know if Leader Games is going to do any more.
No idea.
But, alright, on the scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the Cats and Dogs expansion?
8.
Yeah, that's where I'm
That
at.
was going to be 8. Yep.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. It's really good. So, that's our thoughts on the expansion. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.